Hello everybody, very good evening. Thank you for your patience. Sorry for being about 10 minutes late. It was getting 1:15 and it was becoming very clear I wasn't going to make an 8 o'clock start tonight. So thank you so much for everybody for just hanging on there. How are you doing? A very warm welcome to 8 Till Late live from youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep with me, Tom. And this, which I think is episode, I should know what episode it is. I set it up today. Hang on. 17. There we go. Episode 17. How are you doing? Thanks so much for joining me this evening. We've got a bit to talk about and we might actually have a play with something, possibly, if we get time. We'll see how we do this evening. Yeah, so quite a lot has happened in the past week that I'd just like to try and go over. Not all of it is particularly brilliant news, I'm afraid, but there's some positives that we can kind of finish on. So let's find out and see how we get on. Before we get going though, do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. So yes, a further 10% discount from our friends at Cheap Host UK, sponsors of 8 Till Late right here on Wi-Fi Sheep. Full details and a 10% discount available if you use discount code SHEEP. The details are in the description to this video. Right, how are you all doing? I see the chat's quite busy. We'll say hello, good evening to Dave Paul Jones, who is up the road from me in Telford, are you? You're Telford, I think. Yeah. Martin, hello Martin. That's our one of our Patreon backers. We say Andrew, hi to Andrew from New Zealand, or good morning to you, I should say. And then there's Dave Paul Jones again. So I think, right, that's everyone for the minute. Yeah, so we've got a fair bit to talk about actually. Mostly, well, we'll come to it kind of later on in the stream. The announcement from Retro Games Limited about the Atari 400 Mini. If you remember, we kind of got on air last week and I kind of said, you know, breaking news, trying to figure this out. Retro Games Limited were kind of hinting of something and, you know, we didn't get any more information. Then like a couple of days ago, Thursday it was, the news broke. I got home from work and I then thought, oh, I've got to do a video talking about it. I was planning on going out that night. Excuse me. Rush my dinner down. It's never good. I was planning on going out that night, which I said in the video, but I thought, no, we'll talk about it. And yeah, I still think it's very cool looking. I know it's a mini console. We know what it is, but I just thought, yeah, it's interesting. So I have put a pre-order in. So they came in the UK at £99, 99p. So just a penny shy of 100 quid, which is a little pricey for a mini play box. But I thought, you know, it's curious to me enough. I thought, yeah, I'll put a pre-order in. So Amazon, I've done a pre-order. Again, I'll just stress I'm not associated with them. I know I've done a lot of stuff on the C64 Mini, C64, that kind of stuff. I will stress I'm not sponsored by them or affiliated anyway. So what you're seeing is like completely off my own back. But yeah, so we'll come to that a little bit later on. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. A couple of things I'll just start us with. Yeah. So first, these aren't great, I'm afraid, and it kind of slightly ruins the tone of the show. But Okay, so I'll just get this out of the way. Last week we discussed briefly the video from a certain well-known 8-bit YouTuber from North America. And we discussed that, and I made the comment that I found that person's association with gun culture, I found that a little uncomfortable, and that's all I said, right? And then I explained that, you know, we're in the UK, we've got very high gun control laws here, so guns are not part of our culture. And then I simply made a comment that when you are international streaming or making videos that can be seen all over the world, you do have to be culturally aware of other people's cultures, not just your own, right? Which is what I try and do here. Somebody who I won't name, who I don't know personally, but has kind of, you know, commented on a number of videos. I think was a subscriber and has commented on a number of videos over a few years, and I've had some Discord back and forth with them. Decided to take major issue to this. Amazingly, I don't think the person's actually American either. Might actually be based in the UK, I think, but basically took major issue to this, and then posted on the comments from last. It's gone now, by the way. There's no point looking, but last week's episode, and it was something along the lines of accusing me of politicizing and pushing my political viewpoints when I said I wouldn't, and all this kind of stuff. And I blocked them, and that kind of annoyed me slightly because I was like, this channel, I try and build a, you know, a friendly, coherent, inclusive community of people. So people that comment on stuff, you know, everyone is like civil and intelligent to each other, you know. And then you get people who have been fine, and then they just come out with stuff, and it's when they're kind of like accusing me of politicising. At no point did I make a political statement. I just aired a personal opinion on something and was very sensitive to say I was just found it a bit uneasy personally myself. That's all I said. And this person just sort of, you know, the minute you start using my video chat boxes to start accusing me of doing things when I haven't, or you haven't literally read or listened to the rest of what was said, you've just picked up two things and started keyboard bashing. The minute you do that, you don't have my respect anymore, and you're not welcome here. And it's as simple as that. I don't have time to deal with idiots. And it's a real shame because I you know, I thought this person was, I don't know him personally, but I thought they were all right. And it's a real shame I've had to do that. But, you know, I would far rather spend the time talking to you, basically, you know, and having constructive conversations. I mean, one thing I don't do on the show, we don't do politics in the sense of, I don't use this platform to push my personal agendas or opinions. Okay, I'm allowed to disagree with things, and in certain contexts where I believe it's relevant to what we're talking about, I might say, you know, something or the other, and you absolutely 100% can disagree with me, and many of you have, and you are absolutely entitled to that. But we do it in a respectful, adult, mature way. We don't go ranting on the thing and pushing, making statements or making out that I said stuff that wasn't true, because it's like, at that point you've crossed the line, and that's no longer an adult conversation. So, you know, but I've said all along, you absolutely do not have to agree with me. So it's a shame, and I'm annoyed about that, because I don't like blocking people, especially someone who's kind of, you know, been there. Yeah, it's slightly got bugged me that, but anyway, doesn't matter. Right, I just wanted to say that I did contemplate, shall I even bring it up, and I thought, no, I'll bring it up. So that's all I wanted to say on that issue. The next thing I want to talk about, and I hope you will, for those of you watching, you'll indulge me on this, because this is a little bit outside the box of what we normally talk about. For reasons that will come very clear very shortly, I just need to take off the live bits, graphics on the video, because I'm going to record this bit, and let's just do that now. Actually, stop that recording, because I'm going to reuse this and put this segment well, edited on channel 2. So again, just a warning, this is slightly this isn't political, but when I say left of field, I mean this is not quite the normal stuff we talk about, but it's a big issue that has huge crossovers, and a lot of people are talking about it. It's very much a British issue, again, not political, but yeah, so I just want to sort of talk about this just for a moment or two, for a segment, for a new thing that's going to go up on channel 2, but I don't have time to make that video separately. So I again hope you can just indulge with me. If you're not interested in this, fair enough. Just give me 5 minutes just to get this done, and then we'll move on to computers. So right. By the way, this is all a bit weird, so I'm going to basically shoot a video live while you're watching. So if this all sounds a bit broken up to you, that's why. So just bear with me. Okay. Where are we? Right. Oh, without stuff falling apart. Right. Okay. Right. So it's been something of a rocky week here in the UK, especially if you are interested in or an enthusiast of model railways like I am. And for the start of a new series here on Wi-Fi Sheep Channel 2, I was hoping we would start on a slightly better note, but unfortunately this is how we're starting. So the news that many of you will be aware of is that one of the major UK model railway retailers, which are called Hattons, decided to pull the plug on their business. Now, why that's a big issue is Hattons were one of the biggest online mail order model railway companies in the UK. I had stuff on order with them. I bought stuff with them before, for many, many years. This company is was turning over millions of pounds. And all of a sudden, out the blue, it just decided to pull the plug. I'm just going to show you this on Twitter, or now X as it's known. And this is called not having stuff set up properly. And that's called looking at the wrong way. By the way, I'll edit this bit out, so when you watch this back on channel 2, it will be very, very sleek. Where are we? Right. Okay. Yeah, so this was the announcement, and I got an email because I'm on the customer email books for the company. And here it is. With immense sadness, we share the news of the upcoming closure of Hattons Model Railways, an institution in the hobby since 1946. Over the decades, we've had the privilege to serve enthusiasts and share our passion for model railways with hundreds of thousands of customers. If you have any questions of how this has come about and how this affects you directly in regards to pre-orders, trunk orders, etc., we'll put together a Q&A, blah, 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 blah. So basically, they blamed a number of factors. It's all a bit strange, but they blamed a number of factors. Mainly, they said Brexit, which was the UK leaving the European Union, cost of living, business rate cost or something like that, and also declining market share, declining audience or customer base. Basically, old people not buying stuff anymore or dying off, and the younger generations, aka me, not being able to afford to buy anything because the prices are stupidly high on everything. But what's really annoying is I actually had a pre-order set up with them. So last year now, if we just go back to the website, and I've got it here, I actually had from Aquascale one of their brand new Class 31 00 gauge models. Trying to think which one it was now. There we are. Yeah, and now sold out. So I had this one on pre-order, and just the 169 one, not the DCC one. But see, completely sold out. I haven't lost any money, but I have lost the pre-order. And I just thought, they were saying to people who lost pre-orders, oh, you could go to Rails of Sheffield, which is the next biggest model rail retailer in the UK, and put your pre-order in there. And I just felt, actually, I just don't feel like it at the moment. I mean, 169 is quite a lot of money. I've just had to replace my phone. So, yeah. So it's a bit of a pain, really. And, you know, it is a shock. Did not see this coming. So they've had a bit of a, well, I say fire sale. It's not really they chopped 30% off, which was about the VAT on the product. But I did order something and it actually came yesterday. So let me just show you this, which I did buy. This is second hand. Again, Hornby product. Class 153 rail car, which, get 00 scale, which, oops, just dropped that on the floor. Just bear with me. Right. Normally, they obviously give you a little, like a print A4 print booklet, but this time you just get this little "Thanks for shopping with Hatton's" slip, which is kind of sad, really. But yeah, and there we go. There is a used, still cost me over £80, mind you, but that's used second-hand rail car for a new project I've got going on up in the attic, which is to build a new layout, which is something we will be doing here on channel 2. Do you know what? I'll get that, sort that later. Again, we'll cut this bit out. By the way, if you were to ever watch me doing a Wi-Fi sheet pre-record video, it is literally like this with me cut. All this gets cut out, so I know it looks really sleek, and it's like, in reality, it's me just like faffing around. So anyway, bear with me, people. Nearly done. So we had the sort of the shock of Hattons. Rumours have been going around that actually what's happened is that they fell out with Bachmann, which is one of the sort of Hornby alternative manufacturer companies. If you're in the US, you'll probably know Bachmann. Bachmann, a big company for US outline. But they also have a UK division that makes N scale and 00 here in the UK. Yeah, so basically they fell out with Bachmann. That was over. Hattons they got so big they started manufacturing their own models, and they did their own version of the Class 66 diesel, which then competed with Bachmann's, that at the time was the only sort of higher end 66 on the market. Hornby have one, but it's a low end retool of the old Lima tooling, so it's not as high spec as the other two. So basically Bachmann said, excuse me, so basically Bachmann said that they consider them a rival now, not a stockist. So they lost to Bachmann. I think they lost to Hornby. I'm not sure. I think they fell out with Hornby over something. I don't know. Anyway, basically I've been having a chat with a few of my colleagues, some in just the model railway circles, others actually also do retro and vintage computing, which is the main thing we do on Wi-Fi Sheep Tech. So if you're interested in computing, computer programming, that kind of thing, do go and check out our main channel. And I've had a chat with a few people, and basically everyone's come back to me and sort of said, there's something slightly suspicious going on here. It turns out they've bought, the end of last year, a European and also a US retail distribution firms, as if they've decided to quit the UK market, tie the company up, and are going to relaunch with these other brands internationally. Don't quote me on that, but this whole wind-up of a company seems weird. They're not insolvent. They've got about £5 million in the bank, according to their company house records. So there's something a bit weird going there. But for us modelers buying stuff, when we can afford it, it's a shock. It's a real shock, and did not see it coming. Anyway, I said it was a bad week. It got worse. So off the back of Hattons, we then hear from the Worley Model Railway Club. Now they're based in the West Midlands, and they run one of the, if not the biggest model railway exhibition in the country, called Worley, which is held at the NEC, which is the National Exhibition Centre, adjacent to Birmingham International Airport. Now, I've actually exhibited there about 10 years ago. I got my layout into Whalley and exhibited. But it turns out that the 2023 show, which was the show just gone, will be the last, because they're not going to carry on, citing all sorts of excuses, from lower numbers, older demographics, higher prices. Apparently it was you spent £50 for parking and tickets before you even got into the NEC. So it's really, really expensive. And of course, if Hattons have gone, Hattons were one of the main sponsors of the Whalley event. So, but they also made this, I think, slightly derogatory comment on sort of blaming that no young people wanted to come along and take on the reins. Well, and I've heard that a lot, especially in sort of preservation, model railway clubs, railway preservation, that sort of thing. My argument is, I mean, I suppose you'd class me as young, mid-30s perhaps, but young people that would be capable of organising and running these sort of things, we've got our own issues right now. Cost of living crisis, we have to work, we work long hours, a lot of us, on not exactly wonderful pay sometimes. We've got high cost of living, we've got inflation, we've got things like that. And we're really, really busy trying to just keep a roof over our head, and, we don't get a lot of spare time. And that's why young people probably don't step up to these things. There's also an issue which was brought to my attention, is did this committee actually allow any young people to come in? Because if you bring new blood in, they'll want to change things, modernise things, and a lot of these places get a bit stuck in their ways and, oh, no, you can't do that. So the young people walk. So I don't know the answers to that. I've just heard some speculation. But yeah, it's sad. But I've got to be honest with you, I hadn't gone to the Whalley show in over 10 years. So the last time I went, I'm going to show you something else now. So the last time I went was December 2014. And this is the December 2014 issue of Railway Modeller magazine. This is a national publication here in the UK. And I just want to bring your attention to something, if I can find it. And I should have bookmarked it before we started. It is in here. Oh, here we are. This is my layout. I had a layout, or still do have a layout, called Thornton Gate. So before I was doing Wi-Fi Sheep, I was actually known in the model railway world for Thornton Gate, which was a recreation of an actual place on the Blackpool tramway here in the UK, which is in the northwest of England on the coast. So it's actually N scale or N gauge for anyone who's interested, and this was a 2-page article, and again I'll try and bring that in frame, of the layout. And down here, I'm just going to see if I can zoom in a minute. This will be another edit because I haven't actually even screwed the lens in the camera. Oh, is everyone still with me, by the way? Just bear with me. Okay. So, damn. Been having focus issues with this camera, I'll tell you. No. Right, stay in focus. But see how it just moves out of focus without. Just tighten that up. Okay. So here is the last part of the article, and here we are. So that's a younger me, a younger Anna. That's my fiance. That's actually my younger brother Sam, and who was part of our team. And it's actually a picture here from 2012. Me and Anna visited. It's actually the real site. This is the real place we went to. And yeah, so if you're watching the rerun or the edit of this, you'll actually see some better photos on screen. I just didn't get time to get photos in place for those of you watching this live. But yeah, this was the layout, and we took this to Whalley, the NEC exhibition. So the show itself, this was the actual show guide that they did, a full printed show guide for the exhibition. And there was actually the floor plan, so it gives you the idea of the size of this model railway exhibition. That's the full model railways and trade and societies. So you know, it was a big show. And yes, plenty of trade support at the time. So I stressed this 10 years ago, and I'm just going to flick through so I can find. Oh, here we are. And here I was, stand B72, Thornton Gate Tramway. And what I did for the show, and I did it with permission from the actual club, is I actually reliveried one of my these are custom tram cars that I built. So they're actually resin cast on Japanese, I think they're Kato chassis, can't remember. They're Japanese chassis basically. And I actually did a custom livery, so the Worley National kind of advertising livery, which I wrapped one of the tram cars in. And here's a couple of these. Actually look quite crude now. We replaced these with 3D printed models, but at the time these are actually resin casted from a hand built master that I created. But yeah, so everything was kind of like printed cardboard, or was actually made out of cast resin or bits of plastic or whatever we could find at the time. So yeah, so it's I mean, I did that show, and to be honest with you, I was so exhausted and so tired off the back of it that I kind of felt I didn't ever need to go back again, which I know sounds strange, and I hadn't. And so it would have been 10 years this year had the show ran that we would have exhibited. But I've visited other shows, and Thornton Gate as well continued to exhibit at smaller events across the UK up until 2018. I think we haven't officially retired the layout, but we've kind of finished exhibiting, and now I'm building a new project in 00, which is the British equivalent of the HO scale. But yeah, so it's been a bit of a week here in the UK as sort of double shocks go. That's quite a big one, so we'll see where we go from there. As for trains on 2, we will go to more happier places in up and coming videos here on Wi-Fi Sheep Channel 2, including I'm hoping to document my new layout build project, as well as many other model railway and electric type projects that I have going on, which I think will be of interest to you over here on Channel 2. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much for your company, and I'll see you real soon right here on Channel 2. It's okay, I'm not going anywhere, don't worry. Right, that's that done. Thank you for that. Oh dear, right, yeah. No time, that's the problem. So I thought, that's one of the things about doing the live stream, is it's like, you know I end up doing half my work, other videos. We'll do them now. Yeah, thanks for that, everybody. I don't know how much of interest that was to you as an audience, but thank you very much for just sticking with me on that. Well, it's not done too badly. There's still 11 of you hanging around, so. What were we in the chat? So where are we? Martin, Sheffield isn't far from me if you want anything picking up. It's very kind of you to say, Martin. Not. I'll bear that in mind. Not at the moment. I've got to be honest with you, just because it's expensive, and I just don't feel like spending money. Mainly because I've had to. It's not the greatest iPhone in the world, but it's a new iPhone. These SE models. I think these are SEs, but I've basically bought a new iPhone and bodged it into my iPhone 6 case, because I can't be asked to buy a new case. I would have continued to run iPhone 6, but it wasn't working. So the home button had stopped. The battery was weak. So I just kind of gave up and thought, right, I will go on subscription and buy another phone. So that's what I've done. So obviously I waited till after Christmas to get that sorted, but I was like, ugh. They were horrified in the phone shop when they said, what are you running now? And I said, oh, iPhone 6. Bearing in mind, I think we're on iPhone 14 or something now. And it's just like, and they were like, what? It's just like, yeah, I know, but it's fine. I said, I don't need the latest, greatest I did contemplate looking at like Android phones, but because I'm mainly a Mac user, and the iPhone syncs so well with Mac and all my apps and stuff, like stuff I use for Wi-Fi sheet production, you know, some of them are actually only Apple iPhone based, so it was too much of a pain to go over to Android. So I just went, you know, what's the sort of the cheapest new iPhone you can get, basically, and the answer is the SE. So okay, fine. So I'm on a handset. I'm on a service contract, handset contract, and because of that, I've had to insure it. So I've got an insurance contract. So I've got 3 contracts. I only went in there for a phone. I've got like 3 rolling contracts. But anyway, right. So should we talk about some computers? Would you like me to talk about trains again? Yeah, let's go back over to the browser. Let's go and have a look at what should we do now? Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do. I want to show you this quickly. Now I've just remembered. Okay. So, positive news. We'll talk about the Atari 400 again in a minute if you want to. But there was a post on, again, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, the other day from my good friend Peter Halkins, who, for those who don't know, he maintains RPCEMU, the Acorn RISC PC emulator, which we've covered several times on the channel. And he did a post that he has actually cooked his own version of RISC OS 5 from the open source library that's available, that's actually 26-bit compatible, and that is a motorbike. So let me just... So here's the website. If you want to go and... actually, do you know what? I'll dump the link in the chat for you. Me Windows 11 are not getting on that well. Where are you? Let's pop that in there. Right, that should pop up in a minute. Okay, so if you want to look at this site, the link is there. This is the same site that hosts the RPC EMU pages. Basically, what it is, it's a new ROM, RISC OS 5 compatible ROM, that is actually 26-bit compatible. So basically what happened was, it's always been a problem with RISC OS, is there was when Acorn were kind of in the final stages of before Acorn collapsed in 97, okay, or 98, whatever it was, 96, 97, they released RISC OS 3.7 for the RISC PC, which was the flagship computer. This is in the same family line as BBC Micro, but this is now ARM based, technically 32-bit, and it was the first OS that had both 26-bit and 32-bit capabilities. When the original Archimedes came out, which was the replacement for the BBC Micro, it used this strange, it was a 32-bit chip, but it used this strange 26-bit addressing for the first and second generation ARM chips. This meant that a lot of the games and the high-end, well-known retro games that got ports to Acorn platforms, such as Lemmings, Doom, Wolfenstein, all that kind of stuff, for the Acorn platform was 26-bit. And that was fine until we got to the Raspberry Pi and RISC OS 5. Now, RISC OS 5 running natively on the Raspberry Pi 5, it does not run on the latest Pi 5, by the way. It can run up to 4, I believe, or 3 or 4, but it can't go any higher. But it can't execute or run any 26-bit code, so you have to emulate it. What Peter's done here is he's actually cooked up a version 5, so RISC OS 5 ROM, although I know it says version 4 there, but this is a little confusing about where the resource tree has come from, but just bear with me. So it uses a code base from 2000, 2002, so it's quite an early source code base. But basically, it gives you a hybrid environment of bits of RISC OS 3, 4, and 5 in one ROM image. What's fantastic is you can download the ROM, and it's all completely legitimate, it's completely legal, and it's completely free, which is fantastic. The only thing you can't do is you can't compile this, because the compiler unfortunately is not free. That's out of Peter's control. He just happens to have a copy of the compiler, so you can actually compile the code, and he's actually cooked this new ROM up basically for the community. And what's really fantastic about this is that it's effectively a new operating system, and includes the hard drive image needed for setting up the soft boot side for the system files. It's a brand new OS that will actually run on Acorn RISC PCs, A7000s and 7000 pluses, and also is compatible with the RPC-EMU emulator for those of you that don't have native Acorn hardware, which is getting on 30 odd years old now. If you don't have that hardware, you can still play with this, and you can play with this on Raspberry Pi, you can play it on your PC. His emulator is free, RPC-EMU, and you can actually play with this new image. I haven't actually downloaded and played this yet. I need to. It will be very easy to set up, and that's something we will do in a video. Probably end up doing it live, but yeah, so he's got the hard drive image both in HostFS format for those of you that emulate, and also as a zip format to flash to a hard disk, and the ROM. So the way this would work if you were running on real hardware is you would need at the moment, you would need a physical RISC-OS 3.7 ROM set. There's two ROMs, both 3.7 in a RISC PC, A7000, A7000 Plus. You'd then download this ROM image and the hard drive image. You need to rebuild the entire machine. And then there's a way, which I need to check into, I can't remember how to do it. You can soft load an operating system ROM on top of your physical ROM, but you need the 3.7 core ROM to soft boot this 5 ROM on top of, if that makes any sense. But I look forward to playing with this, and it puts new light on a vintage OS that's kind of been in trouble. We talked about this before, and how the sort of version 5 32-bit for the Pi and beyond is going nowhere. This is probably the most exciting thing that's happened in some time with the OS. And yeah, I think it puts it permanently as a sort of vintage plaything toy operating system. It's of its time, it's in its place, but it's kind of amazing. There's a new OS ROM for 30-year-old machines plus emulator, and it's free. So that's something I think we'll be talking about. I must stress it's very, very alpha, as he says. Sanity may be at risk. It may be buggy. It's not been fully tested. And I rang up Peter yesterday, I think it was. Peter, by the way, you won't mind me saying this, he's quite an avid model railway enthusiast as well. So we were talking about the Hattons and the Worley news, but I rang him up to kind of congratulate him on this project. And I said, it's absolutely fantastic. Well done. I had a few questions. One of the questions I did ask was, does it run? Knowing the answer, it doesn't run on the Pi, but could it run on the Pi? Not natively, but you could run it through RPC emulator. You could emulate it and it should actually be fine. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. So it's just nice when people kind of, do stuff that's, cool and for the community. So I really do look forward to playing with that. Yes, shall we talk about, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Shall we talk about the A400? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, go on, let's talk about the A400 then. So A400 Mini, I pre-ordered. Probably why I didn't want to pre-order the Class 31 Class 31 Loco, because I've just spent the money. I've just bought £80 train from Hattons, and I've just spent £100 on that. So yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, I don't know why I like it. I don't own any kind of authentic Atari hardware. It's even older. That machine's even older than the BBC Micro, so it's way before my time. I've never used one, but I was just like, yeah, why not? Why not? So yeah, there is. It's half the size, pint-sized machine. I do like all the oh, for God's sake. Windows for you. There we are, that's what I wanted. I do like the fact it's got loads of USB jacks, or jacks, plugs. 5 apparently. I don't know if that includes the power supply or not, because that's USB. But if it's 5 and the power supply, that's pretty awesome. And there's plenty of scope for playing with this thing. Basically, the first time I saw this, and the kind of reason I'm going with it, is I can think of at least 2, if not 3, kind of hack projects based around that unit. And I don't mean the whole kind of strip it to bits and repackage it in something else like I did with the C64 Mini. No, I'd keep it as a mini system, but there's stuff you could do with that. I'd love to know if that lid opens. I bet it doesn't, but if you could probably make that lid open. And if you've got spare USB I/O inside with 5 ports is generous. You could borrow a port for fitting, you know, there might be ways to make cartridge type things work in it. The keyboard, you could possibly get that keyboard working. It'd be tiny, or you could have a go, and I'm thinking you could have a go at building like a new membrane keyboard, DIY membrane keyboard, you know, so you could like plug into it. Looking at the software and the games will be very interesting, considering it's where are we? Considering it actually emulates quite a lot of different units, 400, 800, and the 5200 or 5200 home console. That's one hell of a game library. Basic, I think you need to load as a separate ROM image, as if it was. I don't know if it comes with Basic. I don't know if you actually type Basic on that. I'm not sure. I thought I was going to do more Basic on the C64, and I haven't. But yeah, I just think it's interesting. It's cool. It's neat, and I would enjoy being part of a community that has one of these little things and does a few things with it. Even though we all know it's a Linux ARM board, all-winner chipset, 32-bit, possibly 64-bit, depends what chip they're putting in. I mean, we know what it is. It's effectively a sort of pie type thing in a box, but it's just cool. And I don't know. I can't explain to you any more why I like this. And it's not. I'm not being sponsored. I'm not being paid. I don't get any financial gain out of this. But yeah, I don't know. It's just very, very interesting. And I thought, yeah, it's something I would like. So I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that, but yeah. I'm just trying to hang on. Did I actually hang on? Did I actually select the hang on? Can someone just confirm with me? Did you have you seen the website for the past 20 minutes while I've been talking? Have you been looking at me? If anyone is there. If you've been looking at me, I do apologise. Is that yes as in Richard? Is that yes as in you've been looking at me, or yes you've been looking at the website? If you don't mind. Because I've just got, I'm sorry, I didn't have. No, you can't both. One of you can't say yes, the other can't say no. That doesn't tell me anything. Oh, right. Apologies. I think I've slightly messed up there. Anyway. Oh, you've been looking at me the past. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right. Apology. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, because what happens is I'm looking. Oh, God damn it. Look, anyway. Basically, everything I've just said, with you meant to be looking at that. Did you see? Hang on. Did? Oh, damn it. Okay, sorry, I stuffed up. Apologies. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's going to be rather cool, and I look forward to playing with that. So I've got a couple of ideas, as I said, and we could do that as live stuff here on the channel, or we could do it as videos. We'll see. But yeah. It's something very, very cool to play with. Something else very cool to, well, I say very cool to play with, in my opinion. Yes, the website's there now. I know. Apologies, I messed that up. Link is in the description. Let me put the link in the description for that one as well, in case you want to go and have a look at that. Again, apologies. That's me just messing up. I hate the way it doesn't. I've had this before. Just sorry, bear with me. We had this last week, didn't we? Windows trying to be helpful. There you go. Yeah, no, £99 is not bad. I think I said in the review, for those of you that saw my breaking news review video, if it had gone over that, I think it would be too expensive for what it is. But it's of no surprise because Atari licensed stuff out. It's a no-brainer. You can, a lot of the Atari properties, the design, the machines, the ROMs, kernels, the games, a lot of it is all together in one place, and you can license it from one vendor. It makes total sense. It's a machine that has an international appeal. Everyone knows Atari, even if we're not familiar with this. I'm not familiar with the 400, but it doesn't matter. I bought one anyways. It looks cool. And it, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's probably the safest bet you could do post the C64, really. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what it's like. The only issue I will say is I can justify buying a lot of this stuff because I have a YouTube channel to make YouTube videos about it, so it kind of pays for itself. Even if it's not sponsored, it still pays for itself eventually. Obviously, for you as, you know, viewers, users, domestic hobbyists, whatever you would class yourself as, so I can afford to take the hit if it's not very good, and I can just make a video and say it's not very good or whatever. But for you, you're then stuck with it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm ordering one, and I think it'll be all right, actually. And I look forward to seeing what hack projects we can do with it. But yeah, I mean, it's £100, £99. It's still a bit of money. You know, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. So I think it would come down. If it had been about £50 to £70, that would have been a bit nicer. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's something to look forward to, you know, and something else we can mess around with on the channel. But this did actually get me thinking about what I've been messing around with the minis before. I'm going to have to zoom out in a minute because this is mess around the camera again. But I got out, there we go, the C64 Maxi, which was my repackage of the C64 Mini system. And oh, by the way, on the video, because I did show this in the breaking news video, right, and I could not get the camera to behave right, and I figured it out finally. So in the video, if you saw the breaking news video, it did this weird, like, purple look that I could not, for the life of me, shake off. And I could not figure out what on earth it was to get this sort of strange, why the keys go such sort of a lilac colour. They're black. Those keys are black. And why did they go this strange lilac colour? And then I figured it out. It's because I've got a mixture of LED lights. And at the time I had, I just cut back to, I had an incandescent bulb, this one here, on, right? If I turn that off, that now looks correct. It's amazing how the camera reacts. It's so weird how that reacts just with that combination of print, because these are all custom key labels, and how it just reacts to that is so strange, and gives this kind of strange purple, discoloured purple hue. Really, really weird. Turn that bulb off, everything's fine. So yeah, I finally figured out what it was, but you know, we're doing this breaking news video, so we're just rushing through, and I didn't have time to figure it out. I only figured it out earlier today, actually. I was like, what is going wrong here? And it's, you're mixing LED with incandescent bulbs, that's why. But yeah, anyway, so this was the C64 Maxi, and you remember this is, well, the project for this was one of, and still is, one of the highest viewed videos here on Wi-Fi Sheep. And I did a controller for it. Now, this stuff's been in storage. It's not actually been on in quite a while. I'll just show you under the lid again. So that was the C64 Mini PCB using an all-winner dual-core 32-bit A20 CPU. I think these things weren't very powerful. I think they had like 256 megabytes of RAM or something, and they're not hugely powerful, but basically it's a Linux system on a NAND chip. And I just, you know, the rest of it was a custom acrylic case that I used to do these all-in-one computer kits, and I switched those over to being a card kit. If you go on the Patreon, you can actually still get the card version. You print out and stick to yourself. These are the plastic laser cut ones with some 3D printed pieces, which I added later on the back. And basically I had a couple of these units knocking around, and I actually rebuilt one into the C64 Maxi system. But it hasn't been on pretty much since the video was done. It's gone out to a couple of shows, it did a few pie jams, but that was it. So I thought it might be quite cool to see, does it still work? Also, well, actually, one thing I've noticed is the cable's already broke. The board, I hate to say this, and it's my own fault, the board's corroding because at the time, and this is very much a me issue, I used this flux, and this is plumbing flux, which is a big, big no-no. And there's still bits of plastic and God knows what inside it, but yeah. And the problem with plumbing flux is if you don't clean the plumbing flux off, which I kind of didn't, it corrodes. And if I zoom in, that's the maximum zoom. Don't know if you can make this out, but there's actually must have been a bit of flux residue just on top of the HDMI port. It's gone green and corroded, almost like a battery leak. And there's other bits of corrosion. There's no battery, it's literally the flux has corroded. And here on this side, you can see it's like a powder. Oops. Can you almost see it's like a powder residue just there on the bottom of the case, and that's snapped off. Yeah. So not great. Completely my fault, and that's why I now use, and I don't know where it is, it might be in the toolbox, but I use alcohol based flux, not plumbing flux, because you can make a horrendous mess and break things, which is kind of what I've done. Also, I did an SNES style controller repack for it, and I dug the controller out, literally found it in the box, and was astonished to see, look what has happened. Look at the buttons, and then look at the side and here, and there's like chunks taken out of it, and it's almost like the paint is attacking the plastic. I did have the cord wrapped around like that, and it's been installed like that for quite some time, and it seems to where the plastic of the cord, this happens where the plastic of the cord reacts to the material, and you can see here it's got sticky residue, and I don't know if it's because it's the paint on top of the plastic that's reacted as well, but it's actually been degrading and eating itself. I mean, it's not, it looks wet, but it's actually not sticky. But I'm just like, oh. But this was the, you know, the custom controller that I did for the system. But we'll plug it in and see if it still works. So basically what I thought was, let's see if this still works, because I've not tried it in like forever, basically. I've got a feeling that power switch might be a problem, but so I've got a Pi power supply, which, by the way, these were the these are added later. These are the 3D print with embossed plastic lettering printed in white on top. So I was quite pleased about that at the time. Thought it looked cool. Try and get that in the right way. Okay. Again, I don't even know if this will boot, but let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And then we'll pop into one of the USBs on that side. Had to use a hub on these because you only had one USB out, so it's kind of nice. In many ways, it is nice that with this new system, got hopefully up to 5 USB. Just got to plug a telly in quick so I can see. Might need to cut some sound on the video card. Just a moment. Might need to plug the video card in. That might help. Let's just take that off. See if that comes back to life or not. By the way, for streaming, I am still using the X1 from UE2. That was a sponsor gift from a little while ago, for those of you that remember. It's still here, running. It's permanently set up now and runs this stream and does all the pre-record stuff I do in studio setup. So, and it's running all right, actually. Windows 11 is still a pain. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm not really warming to Windows 11. Can't tell you why. It just is different. They moved things around a little bit, and it's just thrown me, in all honesty. It's probably just old man syndrome. But so let's turn on. Oh, there we go. So we don't actually need the power button. This hasn't had a firmware update in like forever and a day. This has not had a firmware update. Yeah, and the LED has stopped working in the top. So I pulled 5 volts from somewhere originally. Okay, so that stopped working, but let's see what's actually, where are we? Okay, on the controller. All right, that seems to be all right. Let's have a look at system information. So 2018 was the last firmware update. There has been some newer versions since then. This controller is actually a little bit sticky to use, which is horrible. Let's go back. bit of games at the time. They've added a few more now. So basically, it was very, very similar to the full-size C64, which I actually did more with and updated. I've not had this on in a while. School Days. I played that in emulator. Oh God, about 20 years ago on the Mac, and never really understood what I was meant to do. Being brutally honest. Yeah, a lot of this at the time didn't really. I felt underwhelmed by the system, if you know what I mean. It was like, it's not really doing anything for me. Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible. Played that on the BBC Micro. I need a game that I don't have to think about. That makes any sense. Try that. Now this is the one that. This was a new game, and it doesn't quite fit on this, but it does sort of fit on the screen. But I think it was for NTSC machines, and oh, Bobble, yeah, we should. Was that on here? Was it? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, we'll play that. That was quite good. No, Bubble, that was on the Nintendo Mini, wasn't it? I know I played it on something. Again, apologies for no sound, but the menu music which they used has issues with getting copyright striked on YouTube, so it's just safer just to mute the game audio. No, I remember at the time not being very. One of the first product reviews I did was the C64 Mini, and I remember not being very impressed with it at the time. Yay, there we go. I did a thing. No, I haven't played the NES Mini in a while either. That was the sort of the no. Oh, how do I spell my name again? All right, one more go. Yeah, no, the NES Mini was the one that sort of started, and of course I went on and during the lockdown, I actually went and bought the first lockdown that was. I actually bought a real one, and we did a couple of videos on that. And I did have plans to do more on that over Christmas, but kind of just got I can't speak now. That word I now can't say tonight, but I got distracted with other stuff is what I meant to say. I'll stop trying to say fancy words because clearly I can't speak properly. As many people like to comment on. we might be. I'll just. Can we put the desk? Is there any desktop audio to put on? By the way, I don't know. Just bear with me. Hang on. Oh, right. So there was audio on that all along. Yeah, right. I think I only muted it for me, not you. Oops. No, as I said, there's an issue with the menu music. Martin in the chat's just saying it's a bit like Glaxion. Yeah, it is. It is. It's similar, isn't it? It is it's a relatively new game. This. It's not. I should probably update this to the latest. Now we know it's alive. I should update it to the latest firmware. Ugh. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's the music on the carousel that's the problem, which is really annoying actually, because it's like, if you want us to talk about the products, don't use stuff that we can't then live stream. What else have we got? Boulder Dash. Isn't Boulder Dash like the Repton on the BBC Micro? I'm going to have a look, because I'm pretty sure it is. It looks very similar. Yeah, I'm going to say it is. Just with scrolling, BBC Micro version or... Okay. Ugh. Oh, I died. Okay. I don't know why did I not sit down and play these stuff more when I was... I don't know what it was. I just wasn't that infused with it when this came out back in... Oh, I think I messed that up. When this came out in 2000... Oh, for God's sake. When was it? 2018? No, it was earlier than that, wasn't it? Michael asking, is the object to rescue the flashing ones? Yes. Yeah, that's basically the premise of the game. I'm assuming this is... So the BBC Micro had something 9 identical. Called Reptom. Which basically... It didn't side-scroll like this, but... yeah, so it's basically not to get crushed, not to trap yourself. Oh. There you go. By the way, if you're watching this, I have a feeling that if I get a copyright issue in relation to that carousel music, if it did play, I may have to edit chunks of. I may have to edit chunks of the game or the video, sorry, out. Let's try that again. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the fact I was a little bit younger, slightly impatient. I don't know. I didn't feel like it wasn't that many years ago. But none of the none of the games on the system at that time really did anything for me. There you go. That's the problem. It's that they jump out on you. And Paula B has joined us with this game was Rockman on the Commodore 60. I will take your word for that because I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know the Commodore system that well. I've only really come into it as a result of these mini and rebuild systems. So I will absolutely take your word for that. Yeah, what was the original? Was that... So I don't know, was this the original and was... oh god, the name's just gone. BBC Micro. Nope, it's gone. Repton. There we are, it's back. I don't know if Repton was the original and then these are the clones of it, or was Repton a clone, and I don't know. But I will go with what anyone else wants to offer on that because I honestly don't know. No. I'm not playing that again. Forget that. Far too frustrating. Just take that off of me. One thing I did want to look at actually. See, this had basic on the carousel, and I don't know if this was kind of what attracted me to this and the full size C64 was the fact you actually had basic on the carousel and you could actually program it. So I know you should be able to run the Atari ROM, but it would be nice if it had basic built in. but it doesn't say it does. Or I've not seen anything that states that it does. So that was quite nice, if I remember correctly. I think. Yeah. Let's have a quick look at that. Or I might be confusing it with R-Type. Well, it's a Houston product, so. And on the topic of retro consoles or systems, what we absolutely are not going to see is any kind of Acorn BBC Micro Mini. It's not going to happen. Reason for that is the licensing. What shot me? The reason for that is the licensing is all over the shop with Acorn, so it's simply not the case that you could just get a license and make something. Plus the fact it's the BBC, so even if you didn't have the BBC name, I don't know who owns the rights to the Acorn ROMs for the machine, and I don't think the people who do own the rights actually know they own it. And there's a load of people that will claim, damn it. And there's a load of people that will claim that they own things for it when they actually don't. So you're not going to see it for that reason. You're also not going to see it because it simply wasn't a particularly well-known machine and it doesn't have huge international appeal. Whereas Atari products absolutely will have, international appeal, as do Commodore. Plus the fact you can license stuff. So, you're not going to see it. The other thing you won't see, and this is probably also for obvious reasons, you're not going to see an Apple II. Or I'd think it almost impossible to think you would see an Apple II. Again, because you're dealing with Apple intellectual property, and they're not going to license that. Even if you didn't have the name, Apple still own their ROMs, as far as I'm aware. So, you are not going to see an Apple II. I am bad at this game. One more go and we'll move on. Anything else though is possible, and this is why I'm not a game streamer, because I can't play games very well. Actually, Winter Games was one I wanted to have a look at. Because I'm very, very bad at this. Practice. What? Ooh. Ski jump. Probably not figure skating. For bobsled. Okay. Now I did play this on the Mini some time ago and was not good. What I do like about this, it's quite interesting how it creates the 3D illusion of actually running down the track. That's quite clever how that works, and that's something that could actually be copied. don't really know what I'm doing, but it could be copied. Oh, so close, so close. It could be copied. You could make a sort of racing type simulators on 8-bits. Even our Tiny Basic or Project Rio systems could probably pull off something not a million miles from this. We've got the speed. Oh, by the way, we will be back on those shortly. I promise. Hey, I did it. Now you're good. Okay, one more I wanted to look at. Just want to practice. Just do practice at the moment. Ski jump, because I can never ever get this to work. There we go. Oh. Oh. Do you know what? When I was thinking about playing this one, I kind of knew that Eddie the Eagle references were going to come up. Oh, that's even worse. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the problem. Right. How do you land? If I knew how to land, we'd be alright. Oh, dear. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, so, might be able to figure that one out. Who knows? Oh, dear. But yeah, no, I'm through and it's kind of still working. Probably should just go and get out the full size one, really. A bit annoyed about what's happened there, though. That's, as I said, that's annoying. Not the end of the world. I mean, it was a cheap clone controller, so it wasn't like the end of the world. But yeah, interesting. Right, well, time just 9:30 now, so I think I might call it a night a little bit early, if you don't mind. As I said, I've had a few things to discuss tonight, which I just wanted to kind of talk about. Hopefully the whole thing isn't taken down with a massive copyright strike because of that carousel music. I will have to get that sorted. Yeah. And who knows? I say this every week. I might be more organised next week. Who knows? But I plan to be back at the same time from 2000 hours GMT next week on Saturday. That will be... Where are we? That will be episode 18. Believe it or not. We'll be doing 18 of these already. But yeah. And I think next week we should probably get down to doing some actual work on something, possibly back to Tiny Basic. I've got a few things actually going on that might interest you. We do need to look at starting the Kim 1 Uno clone project. So I don't know if that's going to be separate videos or if I'm going to do that here on 8 till 8. It may be just because it's not getting done that we have to do it on 8 till 8. Or we could watch me play games badly again, if, you know, if that takes, you know, if that's something you like, let me know, and we'll take it from there. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for your company. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you again real soon. Until then, thanks so much, and good night.